So my name's Tim Ash Vie. I work for a program called the Climate Development Knowledge Network. It's a 5-year program with funding from the Dutch government and from the UK Department for International Development. And the work that we do is around supporting national level processes around climate compatible development planning and strategy. So low emission development strategies, climate resilient growth plans, that sort of thing.
So many of the policies decided at meetings like this, the COP meeting, COP17 meeting here, and others throughout the course of the year. Your role in many ways is to implement those policies on the ground level across the world. Is that correct?
That's right. A lot of the work that we're doing is really looking at the national implementation of a lot of the outcomes of the discussions that you're seeing here today. So when we're talking around things like the NAPAs, the nationally appropriate mitigation planning, nationally appropriate mitigation actions, and the national plans for adaptation, and these new NAPs that are being talked about, what we're doing is actually doing the work of taking those forward and implementing them on the ground.
And what does that entail, that implementing on the ground? What is the process you have to go through?
What we're really engaged in is a very intensive process working with stakeholders in government. One of the countries that we've been working with a lot over the last years has been the government of Rwanda, with supporting the provision of technical assistance, the big team that have been based there, working with the government of Rwanda, with the President's office, to actually set up the institutional architecture, the legislative framework, and put together the plans of actions that they're going to be taking forward. And later this week, the government of Rwanda will be presenting that to the conference.
What are the difficulties that you find having decided on the policies in a meeting place like this to then actually implement them in Rwanda, for example? What were the difficulties, the obstacles you had to overcome there?
Well, I think one of the things that's very clear is that there's lots of good writing and analysis about what you need to put together a good climate change strategy, a good climate change implementation plan. You need the economics, you need the analysis, you need to understand the emissions. But the really difficult thing is understanding the political economy. In each and every place where you work, you have to get into that and understand it, work with trusted local actors. We typically, although we're an international program, we try to work as far as possible through our regional hubs and through representatives and advisors who are actually based in country, so that they at least have a little bit of a stronger sense of what the local political economy is and understanding what the art of the possible is. We all come from countries where lots of good words are said about climate change action, but we're also acutely aware that the level of action seriously lags behind those words.
Presumably the information goes in a cycle. You're giving information to the countries in which you're working, and the information about the implementation of policies is coming back to you. Is that the way things function?
That's right, and one of the sort of exciting bits about CDK is the area of work that I've just started working is around negotiation support, and that's precisely trying to do that, to try and create that cycle between national and international. So when our friends from the government of Kenya, government of Rwanda will be presenting here this week, they'll be really talking in hard terms about what are the issues that they're addressing and what are the issues that they can address at a national level, what needs to be brought up to the international level for resolution.
And what is it you're doing here in COP17 in Durban? I mean, presumably this is an ongoing learning process. Is that part of what you're doing?
That's right.
Here?
I mean, CDCAN is a knowledge network first and foremost. We're here to learn. We're here to help our partners with whom we've been working put out the messages about what they've been learning. So we've got about 8 different side events with different alliance partners and different entities with whom we've been working, not just at the national level, but also with some of the cross-national types of things. So the low emission development strategies, the LEDS process that's going on at the moment, really it's a process to understand what goes into good quality low emission development planning and strategizing. So.